In today's class, we will write the program to find the sum and average of n elements of the array. First, in main function, declare the variables. Here, I have declared a variable n which indicates the number of elements that I want to be input to the array. Next, I to indicate the position of the array elements. A is an array and sum to store the sum of all the elements of the array. Next, I have taken a variable average, it is of type float, to store the average of n elements of the array. Next, input a value for n, then input n elements to the array A. In my YouTube video, how to input the elements to the array and also how to display the elements of the array, in that video I have explained how to input the elements of the array. To find the sum of the elements of the array, first take an array with the elements, then take a variable sum. Take a variable sum, initialize it by the value 0. Next, take the elements from the array one by one and add it to sum. Means at the first step, take the first element of the array, that is 20, add it to sum. Next, in the next step, take the next element of the array, add it to sum. Like that, you should add all the n elements of the array. Take a variable sum, initialize it by the value 0. Next, take the elements from the array one by one and add it to sum. Sum is equal to sum plus A of I. After finding the sum of all the elements of the array, then we need to find the average of n elements of the array. Which is equal to sum divided by n. Here we have taken the variable sum and also array elements as integer, but average data, it may be a float or it may be integer. That's why first convert this sum to a floating point data, that is apply typecasting or type conversion here. So then divide the value sum by the value n. We will get the result as floating point data. That floating point data gets stored in the variable average. Next, finally, print the sum and average of n elements of the array. End of main. Next, we will trace this program. First, input a value for n. I'll take n value as 4. Next, input n elements, that is 4 elements to the array A. I have already input 4 elements 20, 40, 30 and 10 to the array element A. Next, take a variable sum, initialize it by the value 0. Next, initial value for I is 0. Initial value for I is 0. Next condition, I less than n, I value is 0, 0 less than 4, the condition is true. Control enters to for loop. Sum is equal to sum plus E of I, that is previous value of sum is 0 plus E of I means E of 0. The value of U of 0 is 20. Next, end for means control return back to for loop. Next, updation, that is increment the value of I by 1. Next, condition, that is I less than n. I value is 1, n value is 4. 1 less than 4, the condition is true. Control enters to for loop. Sum is equal to previous value of C plus U of I. U of I means U of 1. U of 1 value is 40. That is 60. End for means control return back to for loop. Next, updation, increment the value of I by 1. I becomes 2. Then condition I less than n, I values 2, n values 4, 2 less than 4, the condition is true. Control enters to follow. Next sum is equal to previous value of sum is 60 plus u of I means u of 2, u of 2 is 30, that is 90. Next end for means control return back to for loop. Next updation, I is incremented by 1, I becomes 3. Then condition I less than n, 3 less than 4, the condition is true. Control enters to for loop. Sum is equal to previous value of sum is 90 plus u of I means u of 3 value is 10, that is 100. Next end for means control return back to for loop. Next updation, I is incremented by 1 means I becomes 4. Then condition I value is 4, n value is 4, 4 less than 4, the condition is false. Control moves out of for. Next average is equal to float of sum divided by m. Sum value is 100, so that 100 is converted to floating point data, that is 100.00 divided by n value is 4. So we will get the value as 25.00. Like that, the resultant values get stored in the variable average. Next print statement, it print the value of the variable sum, that is 100, and also the value of the variable average, that is 25. Next, we will write the flowchart for this program. First, input a value for n, that is read n. Next, input n elements to the array. For that, we have taken for loop, right? If this for loop condition is true, we'll input the next element of the array. Like this, the for loop statement is executed. When this for loop condition becomes false, control moves out of for. What's the next statement? Sum is equal to 0. Sum is equal to 0. Next, we have for loop statement. Next, we have for loop statement to find the sum of the elements of the array. After finding the sum of the elements of the array, next we need to calculate the average. Average is sum divided by n. Next, print average and sum. Next, stop. Next, stop.